It the Libra placements need to know what's coming up in the month of May 2025 for Libra placements. All right, you have fragmented energy in reverse. Very nice, okay? And that's been a big theme, the unification of different parts of oneself, okay? Different facets of your own being are starting to integrate, okay? So masculine, feminine, inner child, shadow, ego, right? Higher self. All of these different facets are starting to mesh into one unified whole, which is amazing, okay? So just know, if you have been on a healing journey, a self-improvement, or spiritual growth journey, anything pertaining to that, your work is paying off, okay? I cannot even tell you, okay? Your work is paying off. This is a big deal, okay? So a lot of you guys could be one of the forerunners in not only doing this work, but by doing this work on yourself, for yourself, you're assisting that process in the collective as well, okay? So that is unreal. Tell me more about this for Libras. Five of Pentacles, exactly. Because at one point you were very disconnected from certain aspects of your own being, okay? So when you experience some kind of significant tangible loss, okay, you may look back and realize that at that moment that created a fracture, okay, where you felt out of sorts or lost or disconnected with certain parts of yourself. Either that, or it directly correlated with the fact that you were disconnected from parts of yourself, right? Because you've got to remember, a lot of the time, certain aspects of your external situations, external circumstances will reflect what's going on internally. Not always, okay? There is, you know, there is different reasons why that can occur, but often you will see a connection, right? Is all I'm saying. So you may notice that, okay? You may be realizing as you're going through this healing process that, yeah, either one or the other triggered the other, okay? So, or they happened in tandem, right? So it could go either way. Tell me more about this for Libra placements. Exactly. Look, we have the Judgment, okay? So that's you coming to full realization, okay? Being awoken, aware, and having to make an informed decision, a choice, okay? Having to walk a path based on being in an energy of knowing, gnosis, okay? That's what the Judgment is. It is a call to action. It's a call to wake up and see things truly for what they are, right? Yeah. And so that's what I feel like happened here. That this situation where you experienced some kind of loss, okay, whatever it was a wake-up call. It woke you up to the fact that healing was definitely going to be required, right? And perhaps it helped you to see in other ways, you know, other wounds that required your attention. Because often it is some kind of catalytic event, which could be very significant, that brings everything into perspective. Again, it could have been the very thing that triggered your spiritual awakening to begin with, right? And put you on this journey, put you on this trajectory, right? Of wanting to heal, of wanting to grow, of wanting to become whole again, right? To fully be in the energy of sovereignty, of divinity, right? Empowerment. Seven of Wands. Yeah. So the Seven of Wands can be very protective, but it can also be very combative depending on how you apply it, right? So you may have realized that, you know, maybe the walls you were trying to create or the boundaries you were trying to create was a means of just trying to shield yourself from having to go through this process. Because a part of you would have obviously been afraid, concerned, right, of what can result from that, what kind of backlash or what kind of challenges, right, you may have to face. But ultimately, you know, it was never about building walls. It was just about asserting yourself and, you know, applying the necessary boundaries, right, whilst you do this work, while you navigate this journey. That was literally it. But it was never about creating walls or being fearful. Because at the end of the day, if you hadn't been on this journey, if you hadn't gone through somewhat of a dark night of the soul, right? Some of you, well, I say some of you, everyone would have on some level going through this spiritual awakening. You wouldn't be able to see It's like you wouldn't be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel without going through the tunnel first. You know what I mean? So it was necessary. Like, yes, I'm sorry that you had to go through this catalytic experience. It's never pleasant, okay? Because it does feel like a significant loss. You know, and I get it, especially where there's like a strong emotional aspect to that. You know, I do understand totally. But it helped as well, you know. Did it happen for this reason? Not necessarily, right? Especially if there was like a passing of a loved one, something like that, okay? No, but that did act as a catalytic event for some of you, right? So it wasn't the reason, but it did trigger that, okay? And it is usually those more dramatic events that take place in our life that trigger that process, right? Yeah, so even though it's not pleasant to go through initially, it is bringing you to a place of awareness. Exactly, I was going to say, Ace of Swords. Literally, as I was saying that, I turned it over and I saw the Ace of Swords. It is bringing you to a place of conscious awareness, and we have it confirmed with the Ace of Swords. That is the clarity, that is the truth, okay? That's what is being revealed to you, right? You see how we have the Judgment card. See all those hands? Right? See all those hands reaching up, and what do we have here? It looks a bit like a seraphim to me. Divine beings, right? Waking you up to the truth. It's like the energy of, what is it? They say, do not be afraid. It's that kind of energy. Don't be afraid, right? Because we're not here to bring fear. We're here to bring truth. We're here to wake you up. To lift you up. To exalt you. To help you ascend. To help you remember. That's the whole point, right? Here's the remembrance. Here's the knowledge. Here's the gnosis. Yeah. Ace of Swords. You carry it in the palm of your hand now. And so now that you are aware, it has triggered not only an awakening, but it has triggered this integration process. So it was definitely beneficial in the long run. That's what you need to know, okay? It was definitely beneficial in the long run. It sucks in the moment. I get that, right? But it is changing everything because now you are awake. Now you are aware, okay? And now you are relearning your truth. Relearning yourself, all right? And that's is what's helping you to become whole again, unified. Especially if you feel like there are soul fragments that you need to recall, you can do that now, okay? You can do that. So it doesn't matter what situation you faced that you felt like broke you down or you felt like you lost a part of yourself in the process of, you can recall that energy back. Trust me, you can, okay? No matter what you face, you can call those pieces of self scattered in space and time back to self. Okay, how you want to approach that is entirely your business, right? You can do it in a ritual form, you can do it in incantation, you can do it in prayer, meditation, however you want to apply that, that's your business. But you can do that for yourself, okay? You don't need to go to anyone. You have the power to do that for yourself, okay? So now's the time, Libra, okay? This is big, okay? So it makes sense. You being Libra energy, okay, balancing of the scales, heavily connected to Venus energy. Yes, you are likely, if you resonate with this, one of the forerunners that are going to be required to invest in this journey, in this process, okay? Because you're healing yourself, and by healing yourself, you're assisting in the healing of the collective shadow. So there is definitely a double mission there, okay? For those who resonate with this. Obviously, it's not going to be for every Libra, but those who really resonate with this message, that's what it is, okay? So very, very powerful reading for you guys, and I hope that does help.